Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to tackle what's arguably the single biggest question hanging over the modern professional world right now. We are unpacking the reality of AI in the workplace and figuring out exactly how it's going to reshape your future. There's just so much noise out there, right? But today we're cutting through all of that and relying strictly on the data to see what's actually happening. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The disruption. Let's dive right into this massive global shift by looking at the sheer scale of what we're facing today.
Take a look at this number. Within the next 3 years alone, an astounding 120 million workers globally are going to need retraining, all thanks to the great disruption of AI. 120 million, that's practically the population of an entire country. We aren't talking about some distant sci-fi future anymore. This is an immediate, operational shift happening across industries worldwide, literally as we speak.
And that staggering figure brings us to the immediate, deeply personal question you're probably asking yourself right now. Is your job one of them? When millions of people are facing a skill shift, it's completely natural to look inward and wonder, well, where do I stand in this rapidly changing landscape?
Because of all that uncertainty, it's really no surprise that 30% of global workers currently believe their roles are at risk of disappearing entirely. Think about that. Nearly a third of the global workforce is operating under this cloud of visceral fear, constantly worried that they're about to be completely replaced by an algorithm.
Moving on to Section 2, the anatomy of risk. To see if those fears are actually justified, let's look at how exposure varies across different jobs.
When we look at this anatomy of risk, a very clear pyramid emerges, and it's all based on task predictability. High risk belongs to repetitive roles. Think data entry clerks, drivers, assembly workers. But as you look toward the bottom of the pyramid, the low risk belongs to engineers, healthcare professionals, creative strategists, and complex problem solvers. The exposure is entirely based on how predictable the tasks are.
Basically, complex problem solving remains your absolute strongest career moat against automation. Why? Because risk goes up alongside routine and predictable tasks. If your role is built on strict pattern recognition, it's highly susceptible. But, and this is key, roles requiring deep human judgment, empathy, and creative synthesis, those are proving to be incredibly resilient.
Section 3. Myth versus reality. The narrative around AI and employment is so often oversimplified, so we really need to separate our visceral fears from the factual evidence. On one side, we have this oversimplified myth warning us of complete human obsolescence across industries. You know, the whole robots taking over the world trope. But the reality on the ground is completely different. AI actually excels at automating isolated tasks, not replacing the full scope of a human role. The evidence clearly shows that most jobs involve a complex mix of automatable routines and completely irreplaceable human work.
This central truth shifts AI from being this big existential threat into an empowering tool designed to elevate what you can achieve. Think of it like this. When we treat AI as a partner in productivity, it amplifies your output. It doesn't eliminate your value. Actually, it scales your capabilities. It's a real game changer.
Section 4. The Industrial Revolution and Our New Era.
To ground some of this anxiety, we really have to look back at history to understand that humanity has navigated this exact type of disruption before.
Take a look at this AI adoption index from 2020 to 2025. See how sharply that line climbs? It's literally off the charts. This dramatic surge in workplace adoption is perfectly mirroring the rapid integration pace of the original Industrial Revolution.
The pattern of disruption and opportunity here is remarkably consistent. Think about it. Just as steam power transitioned us away from backbreaking manual labor into mechanical processes, AI is transitioning us away from rote mechanics into a higher level of cognitive and creative focus. We're essentially being pushed up the value chain.
Part 5. Future-proofing and the skills of tomorrow. Knowing this historical parallel, we can build a proactive roadmap with the specific skills you're going to need to thrive.
The workforce of tomorrow demands what experts are calling a dual competency. This means marrying deep human capabilities with a baseline mastery of AI tools. You're going to need creativity and emotional intelligence on one hand, and AI technical literacy, like knowing how to prompt systems, interpret outputs, and integrate workflows on the other.
Generating original ideas and connecting unrelated concepts to solve novel problems, that, alongside empathy, persuasion, and relationship building, are skills that simply cannot be automated. No algorithm can sit down and truly connect with a client, right? These deeply human elements are what will drive true leadership in an AI-heavy workplace.
Section 6. New Frontiers and Emerging Roles.
As routine tasks disappear, they clear the way for incredibly exciting new specializations to emerge. The work isn't vanishing, it's transforming.
The displacement of old routine tasks is simultaneously the creation of these highly strategic, high-value new roles. So while we leave behind basic analysis and manual data entry, we're seeing the massive rise of AI specialists, data scientists who translate raw data into actual insight, professionals dedicated to ethical oversight governing fairness, and human AI integrators who bridge our workflows with these new capabilities.
And let me tell you, this creation of new roles is driving an expected $22 trillion economic opportunity by the year 2030. Yes, trillion with a T. That's AI's expected contribution to the global economy. This is an absolutely immense frontier of growth for anyone who positions themselves correctly.
To claim your piece of that massive opportunity, you've got to undergo a fundamental mindset shift. You must treat continuous learning and adaptation as a lifestyle, rather than just some remedial task you have to get through. Those who adapt to become AI-augmented collaborators, continuously upskilling and embracing proactive growth, they're going to consistently outpace those who just sit around and wait for certainty.
Since the evidence clearly shows that jobs will evolve rather than disappear, the human element, your judgment, your creativity, your empathy, remains completely central to the future of work. The disruption is absolutely here. The opportunity is massive. And so, the final choice rests entirely with you. Are you going to lead that change or be left behind?